So now let me just resume the session. So pretty much like we have discussed, so how to check the condition with the help of the if and the else block. And we are having something called as an else if. Okay. So like in our case, like we are having only one condition, like we are going to check whether it is like whether the number is equal to or not equal. But in a real time, so we may have a, multiple conditions. Like we may need to check the multiple conditions. So let's say like how I can say like if you have the two numerical value, so int a is equal to 1 and int b is equal to 2. So here I need to check so whether both a and b are equal. So if both a and b are equal, so then I need to print the statement stating that it's an equal. So if it is not equal, then I need to check so whether so a is greater than b or not, or else like I need to also check whether the b is greater than a. So likewise I need to check a multiple conditions. So whenever the multiple conditions comes into the picture, so we should use the keyword called as an else if. So like so initially with the help of the if block, I'm checking the condition 1, and if the condition 1 is true, then the particular block will execute. So we assume that the condition true is false. If the condition true is false, so if the condition 1 is false, then it will check for an other condition. So how we can specify the other condition in the sense with the help of the keyword called as an else if. Like we here we will be specifying the like condition number 2. So if the condition 2 is satisfied, then it will execute the particular else if block. So again the condition 2 is false, so which means like if you are planning to check one more condition, so we can add a multiple else if block. So in a program, so we should have only one if and else block, so we can specify the multiple condition with the help of the else if block. So like in case like I'm going to check the condition 1, if the condition 1 is true, it will execute the particular block by skipping the other block which is mentioned below. So in case if the particular if condition is fail, so then it will look for the next condition. If the next condition is true, it will execute the current block by skipping all the below block. So now if the second condition is also false, it will check for the third condition. If the third condition is true, it will execute the particular block by skipping the else block. If all the condition is fail, like let's say like the provided conditions like condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, if everything is fail, so then we the default block will execute. So in a program, so we should always provide this default block. So the reason why we are providing the default block in the sense, so the default block will execute one and only if all the above condition is failed. So let's take the calculator as an example. Okay. So what in calculator, like we may do multiple operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So like in order to add or subtract or multiply or divide, so we may require two input. So let's say like we are having the two input called as an int a and the int b, and post that we are going to specify the operator, and based upon the specified operator it is going to perform the respective operation. So how we can convert it as a program in the sense, now let me just create one more class, let it be of an calculator example. So in order to run this particular class, we should have the main method. So I'm just creating the main method. So in which I'm specifying two input. So let it be the variable name be the first number is equal to 10 and then int second number is equal to 20. So now I need to do some operation. Either I may add the number, subtract the number, or multiply the number. So like I'm going to specify the operator. So let's say I'm specifying the operator in a string. So operator is equal to, so I'm specifying it as an addition. So when I specify it as an addition, it should add the first number and the second number. If I specify the operator as a minus, then it should subtract the first number and the second number. So how we can convert it as a program in the sense, like we can create the condition blocks with the help of the if, else if and else statement. So inside the if block, I'm just going to specify, I'm going to check what is the operator which we have provided. So I'm just going to check whether the operator is equal to plus or not. If the operator is equal to plus, I'm going to add the first number and the second number. Okay, so if the operator is equal to plus, we are going to add the first number and the second number, and then we are checking the another condition. So whenever you are planning to add a multiple conditions, so we should use the else if block, and inside the else if block I'm going to check whether the operator is equal to minus. So if that is the case, I'm going to subtract the two number. I'm directly printing the output in the sysout statement. So that is why I'm just doing the operation in the inside the sysout statement. So I can say the first number minus second number. So here with the help of an addition operator, we are just adding the two number, and then like we are going to add a one more condition block with the help of an operator. We are going to check whether the operator is equal to multiplication. If it is of a multiplication, so we need to multiply the first number and the second number. Okay, and then we have one more operator called as an divide. So like generally, like we are having the mathematical operator, we can say like addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. So whenever I use the double slash, so which indicates it's an command line in a program. So like if you need to add any notes, like you can use the double slash and you can add the appropriate comments whatever is needed. So now I'm going to create another else if block. So now it is going to check the operator dot equals, we are going to check whether it is equal to divide or not. If it is of a divide, like we are going to divide the first number by the second number, and in few case what happened, the user may provide the invalid operator. So invalid operator in the sense, instead of addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, if they give the hash or if they give an at, so these are called as an invalid operator. So we need to uh, consider this invalid operator as well, which means like whenever the invalid operator is injected, so we should fail the particular program, or we should provide, or we should print the statement like please enter the correct operator. So which means like we should always create a default block. So whenever like the above condition doesn't matches, so if it doesn't, if the provided operator doesn't matches with any of the condition block, then by default the else statement will print it up. So I can say like enter valid operator. So now let me try to add a debug points. Okay, I'm just adding the debug points in the various places so that like you guys can able to understand much clear. So now we have specified the operator as an at, so which means it won't match with any of the block. If the condition, if it doesn't match with any of the block, then by default else block will be execute. Now let us try. So I'm just right clicking and I'm executing in a debugger mode. Okay. So now what is the operator which is passing here? It is passing an at. So it will compare whether at is equal to plus or not, because like in operator it will pass us an at, so it will just compare so whether it is equal to at or not. So now obviously like what happened, so the condition is false. So if the condition is false, it will skip the particular block and it will check the another condition, so which we have mentioned. So like let me just open, where is the run button? Sorry, let me just restop it and run it up. I was not able to see the debugger mode. Okay, fine. So now if you see, like it is passing an operator called as an at. So the at is not equal to plus, which means the condition fails. The Boolean value will be false. Whenever the condition fails, the Boolean value will be false. One and only if the Boolean value is true, the particular block will execute. As the Boolean value is false, it will skip the particular block and it will check the next condition. So even here, right? So the operator will pass as an at. It will compare whether the at is equal to minus. So obviously, right, it is a false. So as the condition is false, it will skip the else block. It will check the next condition, because like we have provided a various condition in the else if block. Even here the condition fails. So then it will skip the this else if block. Now here you could see it will check whether it is equal to divide or not. So again the condition is fails and it will skip the else if block. So whenever all the above condition fails, so like whatever the condition we have specified, if all the above condition fails, then by default the else block will execute. So like we could see the message called as an invalid operator. So when the provided condition matches with any of the particular block, so then the particular block will execute by skipping the other block. So let's say, so let me just do the multiplication operator and let me try to run in a debugger mode. So now what happened? It will check the condition in the if block. So for sure, like in the if block, so the operator is not equal to plus, because like whatever the operator we have provided is multiply, it is not equal to plus. So obviously the Boolean value is false. So it will skip the particular if block. It will check the condition here. So now what happened here? Like again, so the multiplication is not equal to minus. The condition is like kind of an false, it will skip this particular else if block. But here, so for sure the condition will be true, because the operator is multiply and we are going to check whether it is equal to multiply. So as the condition is true, it will step into the else if block. Okay, so you could see it step into the else if block and it will multiply the first number and second number. The first number is 10 and the second number is 20. It will multiply, so 10 into 20, the output will be like kind of an 200. So as the condition is satisfied in this particular block, it will skip the other block. So what are the other block which is available? So we are having one more else if block and else block. It will skip the other block. So if you see the output, like we are getting the 200 as an output. Okay. So whenever we are planning to check multiple conditions with the help of the Java, then we may need the help of the else if. Like if you have only one condition, then you can check with the if statement. But if you have a multiple condition, then for sure like we need to use the else if statement. Okay, with the help of an else if statement, we can provide many conditions. We can check for a many condition, but we should use this if and else only once whenever there is a multiple condition. So you should use the keyword called as an else if. So by this way, like we can integrate the else if statement as well. So we can use the if statement, else if statement, and then the else statement. So like the if statement will execute whenever the condition provided is true, the particular if statement will execute, which means the if block will be execute, and under which like we may provide the line of code, the particular piece of code will be execute. Okay, so now let's say I'm providing the operator as a minus, but I need to add one more condition. So whenever I'm doing the subtraction operation, so how the subtraction need to occur in the sense it should detect the value. It should subtract the value in the way greater number minus the lesser than number. So which means like here, if the first number is 10 and the second number is 20, as the 20 is greater, so it should do the operation stating that 20 minus 100. So if I have the first number as 120, so now it should do the operation like 100 minus 20. So how we can check this condition in the sense, even inside the condition, so we can add a multiple condition. So inside the else if block, I'm going to add a one more condition. So what is the condition we are going to check? Whether the first number is greater than the second number. We are going to check whether the first number greater than the second number. So if that is the case, okay, so if the first number is like kind of an greater than the second number, so then we can subtract first number minus second number, or else so we can subtract second number minus first number. So we can add a multiple conditions inside the conditions. So whenever we add a multiple condition inside any of the condition, so we call it as an nested condition, or we call it as an nested block. So now what happened, for the easy understanding, so let me just add the debugger points like in this else if, and if I try to run in a debugger mode, so what happened, as the operator matches, so it will step into this particular else if block. But inside this else if block, so we have given few more condition. We are going to check whether the first number is greater than the second number. So in this case, we know the first number is 10 and the second number is 20. So then we are going to check. Obviously, the first number is not greater than second number, and it will execute the else block by subtracting the second number minus first number, which means like the appropriate subtraction will occur. So now in this case, like if I give the first number as 100, if I re-execute the same program in a debugger mode, so now this particular if block will execute. The reason is like because the condition is satisfied, stating that the first number like greater than the second number. So if I resume the program, so it will check for the condition. So here the condition will be became true. So whenever the condition is true, it will execute the particular block, and the output will be like kind of 100 minus 20. It will be like the 80 will be printed up. So we can add multiple conditions inside the condition. So which we call it as an nested condition, or we call it as an nested block. Okay, so even like in a programming language, there is no restriction stating that like you should not use you should not add multiple conditions inside the condition. We don't have any restriction in the programming language, so we can use the nested condition as well. So till this point, does anyone have any doubt? So is it my voice is breaking? I'm not sure. So if so, I can re-repeat. So shall I re-repeat it? What happened? My network connection is stable. Not sure. Okay, fine. So let me just re-repeat once. Okay. So let me just re-repeat. So what I told is we can check the multiple conditions with the help of the else if block. So whenever we are having the multiple conditions, we can include all the multiple condition with the help of the else if block. So I have taken the calculator as an example. In a calculator, we may perform various operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So in order to do this operation, so we need to pass an input. So let's say I'm going to pass a two input followed by we are going to specify the operator. So whenever the operator matches, so if the operator matches with addition, like it is going to add the two number. If the operator matches with the subtraction, it is going to subtract the two number. So how we can convert this as a program in the sense, like I'm going to initialize the two input. So one is the first number and second number, and then I'm going to define the operator which I'm going to use. So and then we are creating condition block in which I'm checking whether the operator is equal to addition, whether the operation is equal to the subtraction or the multiplication or division. Because whatever the operation we have specified, if the operation matches with any of the block, then the particular block will execute. So if I give the operator as a multiplication, so for sure this particular block will execute. So the reason is here the condition matches. So whenever the condition doesn't matches, so whatever the condition we have provided, if the provided condition doesn't matches with any of the block, then by default the else block will be executing. Okay, so now based upon the provided condition, so the particular block will execute. So now the next step is we can add a multiple conditions inside the particular block. So for example, so while doing the subtracting, I am adding one more rule. So the subtraction should always happen in the way it should subtract the value the greater number minus of the lesser number. So how we can achieve this in the sense, so even inside the condition block, I'm adding one more condition. So to check whether the first number is greater than second number. If the first number is greater than second number, I'm just adding the operation I'm going to subtract the value called as in first number minus second number. If the above condition fails, then by default the else block will be execute. So where we can subtract the second number minus first number. I will repeat once again. So we are going to create a condition block with the help of the if, else if and the else statement. So we will be providing the condition. If the condition matches, the particular block will execute. If the condition doesn't match, it will check the condition provided in the next block. So in order to provide the multiple condition, so we will be using the else if block, and even inside the condition we can provide a multiple condition, so with the help of the if and else statements. Okay, the process of providing the conditions inside the condition, we call it as an nested conditions. So this is what I told till now. Now, for a better understanding, let me just give you one program so you can try it out. So let's say, uh, like, uh, assume there is a bank. So in a bank, we are having few roles like manager, staff, and clerk. So the per day salary of manager is 500. The staff is kind of 350, and the clerk is 200. So we need to specify the role, and then we need to specify the per day salary, and then we are going to pass the number of working days. So number of working days in the sense, let's say if I give the number of working days as a 20, the 20 days salary of the manager should be calculated, and the 20 days salary of the staff should be calculated. So which means here we are going to provide two input. So one is role and other is number of working days. Okay, so if I say a role as a manager and number of working days as a 20, so the manager's salary should be calculated. If I give the role as staff and if I give the number of working days as a 20, then the staff salary should be calculated. So based upon the role, the salary should be calculated. So how we can convert this as a program by using the conditions. Okay, fine. So let me just quickly explain the logic. So just please look on my screen. So like what I had told is like, so here we are having multiple roles. So the multiple roles in the sense like we may have the role as a manager, staff as or the clerk. So which means like we are going to specify the role. So we are giving the role as a input. So you can give any role and pose that like we are going to specify the number of working days. So as the number of working days is an int value, so we can use the data type called as an int. I can say it is like number of working days. So we are going to specify the number of working days. So these are the two inputs which we are going to provide from our end. So we are going to provide the role and then we are going to provide the number of working days. Okay, so while providing the variable name, so follow the naming conversion. So now we need to check the conditions. So we can say whether the role is equal to manager. If the role is equal to manager, then what we need to do? So we need to calculate the salary of the manager. So how we can calculate the salary of the manager in the sense? So the number of working days into, like we know like what is the fixed salary of the manager per day, which is nothing but the 500. So we can mention it as a 500, which means whenever the role matches with the manager, the particular block will execute by calculating the salary by multiplying with the number of working days. In similar way, I can add a multiple else if block. I can add the role for an staff, and we know the salary of the staff, and I can adding the sysout statement. I'm just going to validate the number of working days into what is the per day salary of the staff. It is like 350. So in similar way, like you can add a one more condition for the clerk as well. And finally, so we should use the else block. So the reason is like what happened like whenever we enter other role. So instead of staff, manager, and the clerk, if I like enter the role as ABC, for sure the else block should execute. Okay, so this is the like underlying logic, and this is how like we need to implement the conditions of Java. So any doubt in this?